Pamela Astarte. Please check out my bio so that you know a little bit more about me. So we're going to do one point, not necessarily the first, but it is a good one to start with, and it's called Be Real, Tell the Truth. Now, for many of us, that alone can be a scary thought, because we've been taught to keep those true thoughts to ourselves because others might not want to hear them or might not want to know what we really think or really believe. We may not want to know what we really think and really believe. So I am asking you here for your willingness to go a little deeper, and you may encounter some rough spots or some emotion. I certainly did when I started with this self-inquiry process many years ago. But it's so important, and you will ultimately get such joy from recognizing who you really are instead of pretending to be what you think you should be based on so many other people's beliefs, not your own, not what you really feel, not even what you really think. So that's where we're going to go with this first step. Now, of course, the first step is always, when you're looking at these types of questions, you're going to need to look at those misperceptions or ideas that others have built around you. I was going to say thrown at you, and in a way they have. So when you start out, you're a tiny baby, you don't know anything, you are tabula rasa, as the psychologists say. Except I feel that most people come in with a personality, knowing this from my own two children and seeing this in many other children. So let's just say you start out pretty open as a child, and then you have all kinds of experiences. And today, of course, more and more, these are through the media. The media is telling us who we should be, how we should look, how we should behave, what we should like, what we should not like, how we should accumulate, how we should have bigger and better, whatever, houses, cars, etc. This is not your authentic self. This is not the person any of us want to be. In a way, I'm kind of throwing out the American dream here, but as they say, it's a dream. Let's look at what's real. Let's look at who you really want to be. So when you begin, and I will give you an exercise, very specific exercise here. When you begin to ask yourself these questions that I'm going to ask you to do as a repeating question exercise, I need you to understand that at first you're going to answer with the questions and answers that you have been fed all your life, including by your own children, mind you, not just by people who are older than you, but people who are younger than you as well. We have all been inculcated by our culture. All of us, and we are all products of that culture, but we are also seekers, particularly those of us in our 60s. We have always been seekers. That's why we're here. And again, as I said in my intro, we now have time to investigate and give ourselves back this incredible wealth of knowledge that we are the bearers of. So, the exercise is, it's a very simple exercise. I want you to find a very nice, relaxing place in your home where you won't be disturbed. Give yourself at least 20 minutes, maybe even more, to do what I call a repeating question. Now, there are two ways you can do this. By yourself, and you might want to record it. You might not, because you just want to allow yourself to be in the moment. You don't want to be writing it down yet, okay? Or, if you have someone in your life, if you're that lucky person that has someone in your life who can do the questioning, who can just ask you this question in a non-judgmental way, keeping their face neutral so they're not reacting to what you're saying, that's the best. If you can have somebody ask you the question, and the simple question is, what do you want? And at first, your mind is going to go to all of what's been programmed. I want a bigger house, I want a bigger car, I want all the yada yadas that are thrown at us. As you keep going, and each time, if you are with a person, you want to thank them for asking you the question. If they say, what you want and you answer, then you say thank you. And they know then to ask you again, what do you want? And you come up with the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. Till eventually, it's not the frontal lobe brain that's answering anymore, it's your limbic system, it's your emotional center. And that is what your heart wants, and that's what we want to get to. Some of the things you may start, and these are just for instances from my life, some of the things you may start to want, and you may then write down in your journal, is I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to spend more time in nature. I want to be healthier. I want to meet new people. I want to have new adventures. And on and on. These are things that are going to start feeling like, yeah, these are things I really want. These are things my heart is responding to, not my mind. These are things that have nothing to do with money or status or success as defined by our culture. These are things that your heart might want. And again, these are just examples, so don't go by mine. Find your own. Then the beauty of the ultimate piece of this exercise, after you've journaled, after you've found maybe 6 or 7 things you really want, pick one. Just one. So let's say, in my case, I decide I want to be out in nature more. I want to walk in nature more. Well, you have to find places you can go. You have to make the time to go out in nature. But what's beautiful about this process is then you're going to notice, hey, I'm meeting new people. I'm feeling healthier. I'm having new experiences. Maybe you decide to volunteer for the Park Service. You find meaning in that. All kinds of things start opening up for you. And that is the beauty of discovering your authentic self. You start to actually have a life that has meaning and that feeds you and that you feel really good about. It's not boring. You're not sitting in front of the TV. You're doing things you love. And that's the point of what we're doing here. Finding things that make you feel authentic.